Good afternoon, everybody. This is Belinda. I have been watching, well, something came across my YouTube. I was really different, and it kind of broke my heart. There was this 20-year-old or 20-something-year-old, very beautiful man, and I could feel his heart. He was so lost. And to be lost at that age, especially a man, I had mentioned before in our videos how our stupid society can be so hard on our boys. Well, I'm here. He wanted a comment, an answer, or something, feedback. And this was a couple of days ago. But I've been thinking, what and how to say, because there's a lot of messages. I mean, I got a lot of information for that age group. I just don't want to come out too strong, too preachy, I don't know what this young man's beliefs are. I don't know. I know he doesn't have parents. He had siblings that were pivotal in his life. I don't know if they still are. But it was the relationships that he also was having problems. Friends, any type, deep, surface, whatever. And he seemed to me to a little bit blame it on social media. That he was consuming too much. And that when he stopped, he tried to stop it because he would consume about an hour. Then he was just like lost in his head. Just going. Well, my previous video, I talk exactly about that. Is to disconnect from the collective. We are all connected to the collective. A billion, I don't know how many people are in this planet, but we're connected to all of them. And the thing is, our young people are born different. All of these autisms and everything, we're trying to blame it on our environment and food and all kinds of drugs, all kinds of things. But it has been foretold that our children were going to be born different. They named them star children, other kind of names that they've been naming them. And they started being born really different in the 70s. So those children are already in their 50s and or close to it, plus they're having children. And when there ever is a change in our planet, our energy, our solar system, the children are the first ones that come out different. And then the females, and then the males, there is a master, Melchizedek, Drumvalo is his first name. I'll try to link the videos where he speaks about these children. don't, I trust him. But then I've read as much about him and listened to him as much as I could. Now, let's go back to the internet. The internet is amazing. The people that are trying to control everything don't like the internet, don't like social media because they can't control it. All the information that they've been trying to hide from us, to control us, they've lost it. They can't. Plus, they're trying to figure out, how can I make money off of this? Because that's all they really care about is control and money. So please, just like anything else, there's good and there's bad. It all depends on what you consume. Just like if you consume junk food or no food, you're going to get sick. Or you too much. You know, the name of the game is balance. You try to balance things out. Plus, there is so much amazing information for us now that we didn't have access to it. It was too slow, and it was too being able to be controlled of what was getting out, when it was getting out, and how much was they were going to let us have. You know, it's like a recipe. They only gave us, oh yeah, that's true, but they would leave out a main ingredient. So no, sweethearts, social media is not bad. It's like anything. It's what you consume. My advice would be to stop looking at hate. Stop looking at things that want to draw you in and make you feel like you're different, you're useless, anything that's negative. Because all of you, all along the world, all around the world, not just here in America, children are unique. They are special, more special every time. Every generation is getting more special with more gifts. Autism, it's nothing wrong with it. These are children that have chosen to come here and have given up one of their senses that we get here to bring down something that we need as a society, as humanity, or our planet to evolve. So they're warriors, they're teachers, they're gifts to us. And it's like, I heard that, from what I understand, let's say speech. You say children that cannot speak, they have problems speaking. They're smart, they can understand, you know they can, but they're not speaking. It's because they chose to give that up so that in its place, they were going to bring an amazing gift that is needed on our planet. And it just depends on the individual, what that gift is. I can't tell you that, but now the powers that be have developed, and they have this pill, their medicine that's just been released or approved, that is helping these autistic children speak. So, food for thought. Yes, we want if you have an autistic child that can't speak, now, the one that I know can communicate in other ways. she's learned to communicate, but she doesn't speak very much. She's learned to speak a word or two, but basically no. If you give that child a pill that gives her speech back, what is it going to do to the gift that she brought down to help humanity, to help us, to help our planet, to raise the vibrations? Think about that. Who's going to benefit from gifts for these children to be deleted? Who? Who is going to benefit taking away all of these amazing gifts that these children are bringing in, being taken away, just like the ones that can't hear? They cover it under the guise of helping them. Now, star children, what does that mean? They're not from their souls. They don't come from Earth. What does that mean? Okay, well, all right, let's unravel this. We have souls. We decide to come down to Earth. We live, we die, we come back. Live and die, we come back. Live and die, we come back. We come back. I don't have to tell you, that concept. So, if you believe it or not, but this is a concept. This is some people believe it, some people don't. Personally, I do. I believe everything. It's all true. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Anyways, so those people are considered from Earth, okay? Because they've been reincarnating into this planet forever. What is it? As long as it takes for them to evolve. Whatever. They may take a break and go somewhere else, but they come back. So they're from Earth. So star children are actually not from Earth. They're not the ones that are constantly been reincarnating over and over and over to Earth, making it their home. These are souls that have come from other galaxies, other planets. Yes, aliens, stars. They have chosen to come here because it behooves everybody in our galaxy and dimensions if our planet, our humanity survives and rises and goes from this third dimension as beautiful, and there's loveliness to it, but there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of opposition. So, but it was programmed like that. But these star children are here for a purpose. And if you start taking away what they brought in, which, who's to know that's wrong or right? But as a parent, I guess you'd have to think about it, They're very, 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 very special. So let's just assume that it is food related. Well, instead of changing our food and how we process it, they'd rather give you a friggin' pill. Why? Because you have to pay for that pill. The other way, they would have to pay to fix their mistakes. To take all away that sugar, stop demonizing fat. Fat is brain food. And for decades, they demonized it because they wanted to sell other things. Or they want to make us sick. Yes, I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist. Whatever. I'm 90. Yeah, well, I would say I'm 96 one day. That'll be great being here saying that. I'm 69 years old. So, and I still have my memory. And through my lifetime, I've seen patterns. And I've seen the bullshit that they fed us when I was in my 20s, when I was just barely coming out like these children now. And it's that social media and all these games that they're not going to have social skills. That's bullshit. You have social skills. You socialize with people online. It just depends on your character. When we used to not have all of that, we have to go out and meet everybody. It was still hard. It was still hard to meet the opposite sex or have friends. You are either shy, introverted, extroverted, you were more daring, or whatever. That was always there. Insecurities, all that. All of that was always there. And that the social media is hurting our children because of all this fake stuff that they're trying to emulate. Please. That crap was when 40 years ago and before that. Because they had movies. They had the movie stars. And they had magazines. And they had all of that. And that's what we used to, our models. We got our insecurities from all of that. And cartoons. All the girls were all voluptuous, looking sexy, and all the guys were all buffy, all buffed up. You don't think, cartoons, that's cartoons. No, that stuff gets ingrained in our children. And as we grow up, and then we see that we look different from the others. Let alone if you have siblings that are just cruel and pick on you and, ruin your self-esteem. But what I'm getting at is there's absolutely nothing wrong with you guys. Nothing. You guys are perfect. You guys are gift. You guys have powers. I don't know each and every one of you, but if you're honest, if you can look into yourself, you're going to find out you are here. You have powers. You're supposed to be here. And the ones that had horrible parents or neglectful parents, that was by design. Because we suck. We're so caught up in society's norms, like shut up, go outside and play, come home. What? Are you crazy? No, no. That's your imagination. Go to sleep. I was a dream, or whatever. It's like, ugh. And then TV, you always have the opposition, is always planting things to make us look crazy. Or it's not true. And then what? Now we know that everything that they said we were crazy about is all coming out. You think that's changing and that's changing? No, they still do that garbage. Sweethearts, if you're totally lost without getting, I don't know who you believe in. If you believe in a higher power, if you believe in God or a higher power, you have guardian angels or whatever like that, all you got to do is ask. All you got to do is ask. And you will find, you will get help. Look at this one guy. He's got a YouTube video. And he's trying to get a community of people that feel like him. That's perfect. That's exactly what needs to be done. We got to gather all of these children that are lost, that don't know what to do or go, and get together so that we can help each other. And then if they get some good information, they can spread it a lot easier. You guys, look. He was saying that he likes to go out in the woods and he just likes to do his own thing. That is what it's all about. It's love. Unconditional love. So as long as you learn how to live and exist within your within your heart, which it's so much easier now. Before you had all this meditation and visualization and you had all these steps to do. And now everything is so sped up with the sun downloads and the crystalline grids of the planet being changed, and we're going from 3D to 5D. Everything's accelerating, so you don't have to spend 2 years or all this time trying to do shadow work. Or the power of intention is amazing. All you got to do is want it and just really work like now. Now, forget about your past. They've always said that. Forget about your past. Hey, forget about your future. It's not even written yet. You want your miserable past to write your future to be miserable? You've heard of we're creating our own reality as we're, our thoughts. Yeah, so you want yesterday to be tomorrow? Is that how great your life is? Because it doesn't sound like it, at least according to this poor lost soul. So what I've learned is it's now. Forget about tomorrow. Can't hurt you unless you dwell on it. Future isn't even here yet. And yes, you can use your thoughts are creating your tomorrow, your moment, the next second, the next whatever. You don't want to just use your head, your thoughts to create your life, your now. You need to go inside your heart. What the hell does that mean? Well, I can give you more information on it, and I might have had a video that I mentioned on how to get into your heart, or how they used to, the way I learned a long time. But now, I'm listening. I've been following this Courtney Kairos. I'm so bad with names. She's amazing. She has a totally new technique of how to get into your heart. I'm not saying that, you're uber gifted. You might just be able to, and you might even exist there already. You already brought that knowledge in, because you've got knowledge that we need. This planet, humanity needs your gifts, needs your knowledge. You just got to tap into it or let them come out again. See, 3D's, this planet is a school. And, sorry, I hurt my leg and I got to prop it up. So, there's good reason why when we're born perfect. Let's just say we're born perfect. I'm going to simplify this. You're a baby, precious. All you know is love, happiness. And as you're growing up, everything becomes a wonder. It's play, it's fun. You're a little kid. Every single child on this planet is the same. Look at documentaries look at movies where people that travel across the world, and look at the children. They all act the same. They all are the same, especially when they're little. Because we are the same. We act the same. Children, we want to have fun. We want to play. We have our we can play. We're so creative, especially when we're little. If you leave us, you don't have toys, they don't care. Go outside and play with rocks or whatever, and then everything's a wonder. Everything is beautiful. I have a cousin. When he was a little boy, I don't know how little he was. 2, 3, I don't know. But I heard the story, so. But he had something in his hand, and he was petting it. And so his grandmother asked him, you know, what do you have in your hand? He said, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And he kept petting. She was like, what? So she said, well, let me see. What is it? She was the most beautiful thing in the world. So she looked at it. She said, well, let me see. Oh my God. It was a maggot. Oh my God, a maggot. But to his precious eyes, it was the most beautiful thing. Yes. See, so what winds up happening, because our planet is very dangerous. We got a lot of dangers out there. You know, even plants and spiders and snakes, and let alone human predators. And then for... Don't get me started on spiritual and dark entities and, you know, other things like that. They're out there, okay? It's all a reality. So, you know, we love you. You got to learn. We wind up teaching you. We try to teach you to be safe. Well, the only way that most children learn is from fear. And they've been using that forever. Look at all the social media. Look at all of the news. What is it that they use? Fear. Because they know fear is controlling. If they can have you scared, they got you eating out of their hands. But that's how we start. You know, don't burn, you know, don't go outside. You know, you're going to get stolen. I mean, it was a reality where I lived. They were stealing children and they were selling them. You know, that stuff was real. It wasn't like it was fake. So we have to teach our children to be safe, you know, some rules, you know, don't talk to strangers and on and on and on. So that they can survive in this world. Well, okay, so you're growing up and you survived. But you're afraid. You know, you're afraid. So now we spend the rest, and then we get busy, okay? Because we want to connect, right? Then you got to get a job because you got to live, you need to eat. You need a roof over your head, so you got to go through all that, right? Just the basics. So you go ahead and you go down that road. And then your mind is preoccupied with that, but yet you're being pulled. You're being pulled because there is a purpose here. There is a purpose here. There is a purpose. And you're getting pulled and you're getting pulled. Let alone you're hearing all of this garbage because you're getting all of this information. You got all the old people that are still thinking and being angry about kids the way they are. And you're hearing all of this stuff, and you're hearing religious people saying, you know, star children are evil. That's a bunch of bullshit. You're going to go to hell. You're getting all of this stuff bombarded when you sleep, sweetie, when you're asleep. That's when we're more receptive. Let alone, I mean, if you stop for a moment and try not to think of anything, it's a little difficult because you have all of this stuff being bombarded. That's why first thing I always recommend, practice disconnecting from the collective. Because until then, you're not going to be able to know what is your thoughts, what are your emotions, and what information is coming for you only. There's nothing wrong with you. You've been fed a bunch of bullshit. We have been given the answer forever, right in front. That's how. And it's love. 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 We are of the light. We are of love. And we're not made to be alone. That's why you desire people, like-minded people, or people that are, because that's how we are. That's how we were built. This is the way the light is. We all get together. The stronger we get into community of like-minded people, and we become stronger. We help each other. Families used to do that, but that's been slowly deteriorating because that's how they want it. Divided we fall. So, and yet we know that we hunger for people that can think like us or feel like this, you know. And so they're there. This community I just joined, because I was a loner all my life. And it was time, I guess, I was pulled. I decided to join. And oh my God, it has been the best thing in my whole existence. I'm here. I never thought I would be. But I see the need for young people that need a direction. And they have their free will. You know, all roads lead to the same place. If you want a fast track, you want to have fun, because that is the name of the game. Okay? I kind of got sidetracked. I get squirrely. When we're babies, everything's fun. Children, we just want to play and have a good time. And then we learn life, and we got to learn to exist and live and all that kind of stuff. And then before you know it, once we got all that, it's like, we got to remember to be children again, because that's the only way you can get back into your heart, is by being childlike. Okay? To love, unconditional. You wind up getting the wonder again, magic. Everything is so amazing. I don't know if you remember how it was when you were little, but there are all kinds of ways to get to that way. But if you want to get kind of fast track and go to an amazing star child herself, gifted. She is amazing. I have been blessed to learn from 12th, 12th, 11th dimensional beings that have come down to this planet to fast track humanity into ascension. And then now, Courtney. She's got to be a star child. Her gifts, they're amazing. And, you know, there was a time where, honestly, I didn't think humanity was going to make it. I honestly thought that it would just be better if we became extinct. Everything was so bad. I was so disheartened, so brokenhearted. I couldn't even think. I kind of went into a shell. I could not even think about out there. The things we do to each other, the things we've been doing to each other for hundreds of years. It was so heartbreaking. But I was told, no. Don't give up. Don't give up. Look. And just like you start feeding yourself the right content, you start looking at the right content, anything that has to do with love. If it switches to something else, like they're better than the other, that's not love. That's not love if you're judging or comparing yourself to somebody else. No. You got respect, love, positive energies, you know. And when you love somebody, you know, all of the nice feelings, you love somebody. If you really love somebody, how could you possibly even desire to hurt them? To be mean to them? It's just an alien concept. If you hurt them, it's by accident. You didn't mean to, because we all have our own filters. You know, we've all grown up with different experiences. So our energy, our whatever's coming in has to go through these, our life experience filters that we have. And so then, you know, you kind of work with that. That's why all relationships take work. But the ones that are supposed to be, you know, are easier, really. Now, about relationships. We are energy. Scientific proof. Spiritual, scientific, whatever. We are energy. We connected to our planet. We are from the planet. So her energy is directly connected to our energy. Okay, so there's science. But the fact is, you're emitting. You're emitting. They call it charisma, you know, your aura. But you're emitting. What you're emitting is your feelings. If you're feeling insecure and sad and you're like a victim mentality, those type of energies are kind of heavier. So you're like a radio, and that's what you're shooting out there. So what's happening is that you're going to attract exactly what you're emitting, because that's your signal. That's your pheromones or whatever is that. So you're going to attract people that are in, you know, kind of lower energy, heavier energy. And you're not just going to attract humans. You're going to attract entities. You're going to attract people. You're going to attract things that like that, because each energy, each emotion has a vibration. And there are parasites and entities that feed off of those particular emotions. Now, they don't do the happy ones because, you know, they can't handle that. They don't want, you know, they don't want to be converted. I don't know if they could, but I'm not going down that road. But they love the darker, heavier ones. So the more you feel like it, the more they're going to make you feel like it. And how do they make you feel like it? Talk, 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 talk. Especially if you attract one. The easiest way to get rid of them is ask for help. Help will be given. I'm going to link Courtney's, I'll link her YouTube channel, because you could get a feel of how, if you resonate with her. I would highly recommend listening. That's a fast track to a better life. And since you're young, it's going to be even faster than this old geezer here. It's just amazing. I highly recommend it. If Courtney doesn't jive with you or doesn't resonate with you, sorry for the old people language, but it's okay, because there are guys are her husband too. There's not just a girl, okay? There's a whole community of all ages. She's very young, you know, of all walks of life, you know. Look through the curtains and see if you might like it. I don't know. I highly recommend it because she's changed my life. Everybody in there. I joined, it's called X Factor, was the little thing I joined. So, I think I'm drawing a blank now, so I think I'm done. I hope that's helped. Our babies. I love you guys so much. Please, please. There is nothing wrong with you. Everything happens for a reason. Even though you don't think it's for your best, the best it is. It is. Especially if you do it from your heart, from your feelings. Okay. I'm going to let you go until I come back with some more information. Honestly, I love every single one of you. And all I want you guys to do is be happy, healthy, prosperous. And it's all possible. All possible. If you're on social media, continue. Just careful what you eat. Live from your heart. I hope to see you again. Mwah.